Hello everyone, this is AetherNightmare and welcome back to Honkai Star Rail. So we are going to be continuing on with Through the Petals in the Land of Repose, but since I jumped out of the quest last time, we're going to jump back in before heading to the Library of Philia. Look for any documents left behind along the way. Many documents were scattered when scholars fled from the Black Tide creatures. There might be information about Thanatos. Okay, so it's also worth pointing out that since the last episode, I actually did go back and review a lot of the lore that has occurred up to this point, so I'm a bit more up to date with what was going on. I was getting really confused with some of the plot elements and stuff in Amphorius, and since then I've gone back. In my last video in the comments, you'll see like a wall of notes that I ended up leaving of all the stuff that I had completely missed or went over my head. So yeah, all that is now a little bit clearer understood, just to give a bit of an idea of how confused I was and why it was a little hard for me to engage. Oh my gosh, hey, how do I get you?
Why did you turn so suddenly? You frightened me. It seems the spot isn't secure anymore. Time to relocate.
Yeah, the fact that these are digital now too. The Black Tide is digital. These are digital. Just potentially more clues. Things to think about now that I didn't spoil myself. I only went back and reviewed the lore since I've been recording this over several months. Often spaced pretty far apart, so I'm hopefully caught up now. I hopefully get it. Okay, any more bugs? That one was kind of hiding. Are you? Hello?
Behold, this lovely excavate. Our Lady Menestia once spun it with familial love to create the first golden thread as tribute to Circe's. It is said innumerable golden butterflies burst forth from this husk, their scale dust raining down like golden stars descending to earth. What joy it would bring to see such splendor!
Yeah, what is this? What is this statue even meant to be? Kind of looks like a bug itself, like a bug face, but like in a cocoon with the eyes sticking out. So I don't fully know what the gods themselves look like either. Eventually I'll probably go back and start filling out pages in Mem's book too. Oh, can I automatically jump? I guess I already attuned to that one, so it's like, you've been here before, you don't need to pay the toll twice. Black monsters are twisted in form, and their life is turned to ash together with their souls. It is impossible to figure out their form while they were still alive.
These are the remains of a Black Tide monster. It does look different from the Titankin from up close. What's that underneath it? A scroll.
A recorded debate between Venerationist and a new Spore scholar. Most of it's illegible, leaving only fragments of dialogue. The Venerationist scholar. We all recall the state that dared touch the sky, but what were they really? Just blind masses manipulated by ambitious politicians who dared challenge the Titan's authority. A completely meaningless attempt. An absolute mistake. You Spore scholar. You Venerationists have bowed to the Titans for so long, you've forgotten a scholar's true purpose. Making a mistake does not mean the act was meaningless. Even those students new to the Grove understand this form of basic logic lessons. Yeah, a lot of these different factions were actual factions of study in Greek mythology too. Well, actually not just mythology, but actual practice of philosophy as they searched for enlightenment. An entire city-state reduced to ashes proved the skyship's construction was a mistake. To me, that's precisely the meaning they achieved through sacrifice. Veneration of the Scholar, am I hearing this right? Such a statement. Are you converting to venerationism? Newsport Scholar, no, I'm simply examining the matter from another perspective. Legible content ends here.
As I expected, the Grove doesn't forbid discussions about the sky. It's a debate between two scholars about the sky ships. Galaya also made mention of the ships when she interrogated us. A memory I'd rather forget.
Yeah, because people apparently did try to leave the sky sphere, but they kept getting shot down by one of the Titans.
I'll hold on to this for now. With any luck, this journey won't leave us empty-handed. Huh?
Yeah, it's the sky one. Did they ever add a... I know I'm getting off topic. I want to see if they added... Where is your databank? Can we, like, build one while we're in here? Enemy Crucia's factions. I kind of wish... I know there's one for Aeons. I kind of wish there was, like, another one for Titans. That'd be really cool. Amphorius... Nope. That's not it. I wanted to see if... Darn it. Which one am I on? I'm probably on Papyrus. Read the Blasphemer as well, aren't I? Yeah, I am. It's a quest within a quest. I wanted to see if they had additional terms. I could also pull up my notes, read while I'm playing. The only problem being, as I do that, this is one of those games that likes to capture your mouse cursor and not let go. So I can only be in one window or the other.
That's Hyacinth. Why is she surrounded by so many monsters? As much faith as I have in her, it's probably a good idea to help her out there.
Really now? This is way more trouble than I could have asked for.
Need a hand?
What do you think was gonna be here?
Or you could sit back and watch.
I can't tell if you're serious or not. But being hard to read isn't without its perks, I suppose.
I'm kidding, Danny. Lend me a hand, pretty please. All right, now let's get him.
Yeah, Aquila, that's the name of the Titan I was thinking of. Aquila, the Sky Titan, who sort of serves as an aerial defense system, but is also the sun. That's something I didn't understand when I first started this up. I guess it went over my head, but one of Aquila's many eyes is the literal sun. And when they were affected by the Black Tide, they closed their eye. And as a result, it plunged the entire world into darkness. So the only place that has light at all is Akama. And it's also why Akama has permanent daytime.
We can do it! We can do anything!
Since you're already here, why not have a meal before you leave?
Destined for oblivion. I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
And of course, since the eye that Kefali is holding...
This place is practically in ruins. What happened? There shouldn't be this many monsters here.
I tried to talk and I can't. This is why I'm always constantly pausing. I know it's probably annoying, but hey, it's a Let's Play with commentary, so you get me. Me is part of the package. But no, the orb that Kefali is holding looks like an eye, and there is a part of me that wonders if Kefali maybe plucked out one of Aquila's eyes.
The Black Tide is remarkably quick to detect the light of Amphorius. So or rather, the blessings of the Sky Priest in me, might have unknowingly called them to me. Anyway, never mind that for now. Here, you might want to have a look at this. I found it around here and thought it might be of interest to you.
She's like Aqua from Konosuba because she's a holy maiden. Her light powers draw the undead to her to be set free from this mortal coil. Scholar Debates 2. A debate recorded between two scholars. Most are illegible, leaving only fragments of dialogue. Euthripfro. Well then enlighten me. What exactly do you mean by examining from another perspective? Unknown. Simple, you see. When we stand, normally the sky is above. When we stand on our heads, it is below our feet. Euthripfro. I don't even want to know what kind of situation inspired you to make such exalted theories. By the way, I have a student who loves to write satirical comedies, and once wrote about a fool who could not figure out a question no matter what. Question. As I said, there's no reasoning with you venerationists. You're like dromuses, huge yet always gazing downward at the earth, while I want to be the wasp that stings the dromus. What if that stale tyrant's defeat simply proved that among all paths to Aquila, the skyship was the wrong one? Earthpro. Anaxagoras, you impious blasphemer, mark my words, you will eventually answer for your sacrilege. I doubt your students, or that young teaching assistant girl, have any idea what a secret research you're truly conducting. Legible content into yours. Oh, so it's Anaxagoras messing with people. I say messing because while he may have a point, clearly he's not doing a good job at getting it across.
Anaxagoras. He's the scholar who fused himself with the core flame of reason.
This is new. I didn't know Professor Anaxa was researching this guy. He's never mentioned anything about it.
Finan said Anaxa might be opposed to the flame chase journey.
Might is an understatement. Anaxa has never been one to venerate the gods, nor has he ever found it within himself to put any faith in the prophecy. People have come to think of him as a heretic, even in a place as liberal as the Grove. Yet, it is also this very blasphemer that Circe's favors. Fate sure works in mysterious ways.
I picked up a scroll on my way here too. It looks like it may be related to the one you're holding.
Yeah, going back to, since I'm now finally putting some pieces together, I kept saying that, like, you know, you keep saying that you're for the gods, and yet the gods favor the agnostic guy who thinks you're all full of crap. But that was true with the Titan of Time, Orynyx, as well. I believe they were like, this prophecy couldn't have come from Kefali because it's far too cruel, which is another way that, like, none of the gods are directly agreeing with this prophecy. It's something that we're going on. It's like, oh, we're Chrysos heirs and we're going to go on this flame chase journey to save the day, and all the gods are like, please stop. Which kind of makes you wonder, like, is it correct? Did somebody mess something up? Or do the Chrysos heirs have their own motivations? Oops.
Oh, let me have a look.
Because we're all doing it under the assumption of we're doing it for the gods, and the gods are like, stop! Hyacinth combines both records together.
By the looks of them, these scrolls are records of two conversations that took place in the same setting, one after the other.
There's still much I don't know about the Grove. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Sure, go ahead.
Who are the venerationalists?
The Grove of Epiphany is home to 7 schools of thought. While all 7 schools are founded on the ideologies of Thalesis, the first scholar, each is unique in its own way. Among them, the venerationists revere and worship the Titans the most.
Yep, the 7 schools of thought thing is based on Greek mythology too. Or I should say philosophy. I keep saying mythology as if we're only doing mythology. There's a lot of myth in this that's Greek, but it's also a lot of Greek philosophy and cosmology too.
As the sage of the venerationists, Euthyphro has always been at loggerheads with Anaxa. If we were to place the 7 sages on the scales of Talanton, Anaxa and Euthyphro would be placed on opposite sides to achieve balance.
A very illustrative explanation. Thank you.
Was it a mistake to build the skyships?
Nearly everyone in Amphorius has heard the story of the skyships by now.
Aquala's stature is loftier than the heavens, and their divine retribution is merciless. That's why it's no use building giant skyfaring ships. Oh, but I do wonder if a supercharged mini Treeby cannon could slip past their watch.
I don't know if it's worth losing another Treeby. We're down to 2 out of 1,000. I didn't realize there were 1,000. I thought there was 3, and like it said, oh, your soul would be split into 1,000 pieces. But since tri means 3, and Treebios herself is loosely based off of the 3 fates in Greek myth. That one actually is myth. I'm allowed to call it myth. I hadn't realized that there had at one point been 1,000 Treebies. And there was only 3 by the time we got here. Another question. Do you think they all had names, and did they all start with try?
That was a joke. Right?
What is an Axis field of study?
Discourse primarily study the application of alchemy in soul repair. Everyone considers Anaxa a blasphemer, but that has never stopped him from sharing his ideas, no matter how taboo. If you must say that he's hiding something, then it's likely what lies beneath his eye patch.
Technically, since we know he used alchemy to try and resurrect his sister, that is quite literally true. I don't have any further questions.
Anaxa often says that every failure brings us one step closer to the truth. Perhaps, to him, the crash of the sky ship carries a different interpretation. The firmament is not impenetrable. On the contrary, it was precisely because the sky ship represented the first step toward breaking free from the shackles of the earth that it provoked the wrath of the Sky Titan and brought divine punishment upon itself. It's a shame that the majority of the Grove's research on Aquila was headed by the Venerationists, with sacrificial rituals making up a predominant part of their findings. Discourse about more esoteric subject matters in relation to Aquila dwindled even further after the sky ship incident. So much so that even this scroll is completely new to me.
Don't worry about it. We'll just collect everything we can find on the Titans for now. There's something else that's caught my attention, though. This says that Anaxa is conducting secret experiments of some sort.
That's what I'd like to know. What are these experiments he's involved in? Even I, the assistant lecturer, know next to nothing about them. I have a bad feeling about this. Could there be more to what happened at the Grove?
Oh, more than likely. These two are in the back, which made me think something was hiding back here. Worth a check, you know? I kind of wonder if, too, in the post-story, if when we come back to these places, if there'll be daytime instead of nighttime. But apparently even the developers said, like, yeah, they were kind of iffy afterwards on the writing of Amphorius, that they were like, we introduced way too many concepts at once and it really confused people, so we're going to be more mindful of that in the future.
This is the Library of Philia, a place where the Grove stores its collection of tomes. Other than books written by the 7 schools, you can also find philosophical texts, ballads, and religious writings from the Outlands here. Cities that desire to learn from the Grove were apparently expected to contribute knowledge of equal value to what they sought. We've had more than our fair share of hilarious episodes over the years. For instance, it's said that the Erythrocheramists once borrowed a manuscript from a certain author, but ended up returning a copy instead of the original. What's more, the original manuscript was supposedly then hidden here.
That doesn't seem like a nice thing to do.
Nice? No need to hold yourself back, Danny. You can just tell it like it is. Their behavior was no different from bandits.
Well, if you don't mind, did the Grove ever rob Castrum Kremnos?
Could they get to Castrum Kremnos?
You've got me there. Some said you couldn't even find a dictionary in Castrum Kremnos, so I guess they were spared.
You know, Finon was making fun of My Day for that, but they really might not have been a language-focused people. But yeah, that's another thing I missed. Castrum Kremnos is a mobile fortress, so it moves around constantly. I didn't realize that about it. I knew it was another kingdom separate from Akama, but I didn't realize it was mobile.
There are too many books in the Library of Philia. Flipping through them all will take too long. Why don't we use the Biblioslate to search for the texts we need? We can bring them back to Akama for reading after that.
Agreed. This place isn't safe. We should leave as soon as we're done.
I think, too, that was another problem with Amphoreus. There was a lot of tell, not show. So, while it was one thing to paint it onto a mural, to me it was abstract enough that when I looked at it, I didn't realize that it was like a mobile fortress in the mural until it was later pointed out, and I'm like, oh, that makes a bit more sense. So that's another reason why I've really been struggling with Amphoreus. Like, I like the ideas behind it, but the presentation of it left me really confused until I went back and looked stuff up.
There's still several more scrolls strewn all over the place. I'll gather them while you pull up those texts. This way, nothing will be overlooked.
And so it kind of caused me to start theory speculating in a lot of the wrong directions. Because I didn't understand core concepts of the world that were maybe seemed innate to the developers who worked on it all the time, but wasn't really communicated that well to the player. Unless you were to constantly, like, sit down, go back and read all the texts and, like, absorb it that way, look through all, like, the backlogs and stuff. If you're just going through the game linearly, there is a lot that just blew over my head. And apparently it did for a lot of other people, too. Do I want to look at the other ones first? A book covered in annotations from many scholars. The title is The Art of Sophistry, 40 Ways to Improve Your Debating Skills. You skim through it, and the highlighted methods includes virtual causation, false premises, contradiction, conversion, conflating provocation and reality, misinterpreted punctuation, misattribution, and generalizing specifically, among other things. The different types of herrings. Amidst it are scholars' exclamation, a true eye-opener, the art of language knows no bounds. If I can't master sophistry, I can at least learn to defend myself against them as an honest man, and so on.
The last resort is, when all else fails, employ brute force.
Language has broken down. We now fisticuffs it.
Well, this isn't going to be of any help, that's for sure.
A record of the many research topics as a Caprice scholar had applied for, and the replies from the school's sage about these topics. Topic 1. A discovery that many mythical beasts renowned for their longevity actually reside in areas with poorly managed birth and death records for such creatures. Permission to research. Reply. Lacks research significance. Not approved. Topic 2. An observation of real plants within the grove imitating the growth patterns of nearby white dryads. Permission to research. Reply. Falls under the domain of the Lotophagus School. Not approved. Major, he says. Topic 3. Investigating the feasibility of placing flying birds into rocket tubes to guide the direction of the rocket's flight. Permission to research. Reply. Too fanciful. Not approved. I mean, the wings need to be on the outside, though. The bird has nothing to do with it. The subsequent topics grew increasingly eclectic, yet the outcome of the replies remained unchanged.
Impressive tenacity. Hopefully it helped him survive the Black Tide.
These are complete letters from the scholars about Anaxagoras, the Blasphemer. There's a thick stack of letters. Based on the dust accumulated and the perfectly intact seals, the complainee did not even bother opening them and just chucked them aside into a corner.
This is about Anaxa. I should read this. Hyacinth, you should come have a look too.
dusty in here. Whoa. Are these all complaints about him?
How is it dusty in here? We're half outside.
I can already see what they must have written. Anaxa has no respect for the gods. His very existence undermines order in our society. They're probably all things like that.
I mean, considering it's resting in a spot where plants grow, I'd actually more expect it to be moldy.
Does Anaxa hold that much influence?
Why else would they call him the Great Performer? When Anaxa established his school of thought, the first thing he apparently did was read his own work to everyone. Are the Titans truly an accurate reflection of what humans think gods should be? Worlds created by gods are indubitably perfect, but what of Amphorius? Only foolishness and insensitivity everywhere you turn.
An uncanny impersonation. What happened after?
They marched him straight to the seat of judgment before he could finish. Though what he took on in the end was more of a debate than an actual trial. He had to address every one of the scholar's allegations, or face expulsion from the Grove. The first allegation was... Do you agree that since the Titans created the heavens and earth, so the mountains, rivers, and seas must likewise be their creations?
Am I supposed to put myself in Anaxa's shoes and answer that?
Now you know how I feel. Yes.
As told in the myths, the seas, the skies, and the earth are all, beyond the shadow of a doubt, creations of the Titans.
As told in
Anaxa
myths.
would have probably been spared a lot of trouble if he had answered this way. Instead, he quoted past instances of the flame-chased journey and posited that humans have the potential to take over the divinity of Titans. Needless to say, his critics didn't take kindly to his answer, so they followed up with a second allegation. You claim to be studying souls, yet you are, in fact, defiling them and committing acts condemned by the gods. Do you admit it?
I like this guy more and
That's
more.
a serious allegation. Did he really do that?
Anaxa always wears an eye patch, never removing it, even when alone. Some say he used one of his eyes as an alchemical ingredient. Every being in the world owes their safekeeping to Kifili, and this is even more so for the Chrysos heirs who have divine blood coursing through them. If he has really done something of that nature, then it'd indeed be sacrilegious. Thankfully, they had no way to prove it, so it amounted to nothing more than an allegation in the end. One by one, Anaxa engaged in wars of words against those who would challenge him. Toward the end, a scholar asked him, Anaxagoras, have you any respect for the gods? It was only after a brief silence that he answered, I have never denied that Titans are meant to be noble constructs.
Meant to be.
Oh, what he didn't say, that the Titans are not noble, rings louder in this case.
Yes. I'm not sure how that controversy was eventually resolved. But what's for certain, at least, is that Anaxa was allowed to stay in the Grove where he continued his research, despite being regarded as a heretic. By the way, this stack of complaint letters has reminded me of a place in the Grove. We may find clues there that aren't on the teleslate. I'm talking about Anaxa's alchemy lab, hidden between the cornerstones.
Given the Grove's meticulous approach to archiving, could there really be such an oversight right under their noses?
It's a well-kept secret. Among the 7 sages, excluding the nominal chief sage, each has a private sanctuary where they can conduct research undisturbed in their free time. Even the administrators of the Library of Philia are restricted from accessing those places and documenting the sage's research. But with the Grove in this state, I'm sure Anaxa won't be mad even if we sneak into the lab for a short while. Right?
These trees, they're like a maze.
Yeah, it doesn't really say library to me personally, but hey, what do I know? Did I not command you to stop? Thank you. But no, I practice a school of thought very similar to Anaxagoras by the sounds of it. So, quite relatable to me in how I think.
This is the place, but where is everything? Materials for alchemical experiments, matrix diagrams, and even the seal to the lab. They're all gone. Did the black tide destroy it all?
No wonder we didn't see any defense mechanisms along the way. Have you ever been here before?
No, not even close. Not only are alchemy experiments high-risk activities, but Professor Anaxa also has a penchant for using bizarre materials. Students often saw him walk in looking right as rain, but come out covered in soot with his hair singed. Naturally, no one dared to come near this place. Huh? That bookshelf over there seems to be the only thing still intact.
These materials requested by Anaxagoras, documents from various fields, have been compiled in one place, including the Titan's creations, the University of the Soul, and alchemy doctrine, and so on. Most of the materials look to be within the research domain of the New Sporus School of Thought. However, a document titled A Study of the Chrysosaur's Background is mixed within. Hastily written journal number 1. There appear to be quick notes examining the background of the Chrysosaurs. The Holy Maiden of Yanisopolis, Tribi, Trian, and Trinan, descendants of the Holy Maiden from the from the Temple of the Three Fates. What did I just say? Told you. Goldweaver, Aglaia of Akima from the Menestia priestly family, the Prince of Castrum Kremnos, Hyacinth of the Twilight Courtyard. All their ancestry have varying degrees of connection to the Divine Titans or the Divine Authorities. That's the other thing, too, is that apparently a lot of these people had powers prior to actually getting the core flame of the Titan. So Castris, I believe, does not have hers. She still has the ability to communicate with people on the brink of death, as well as have a death touch. That's why most people can't touch Castris. They'll just instantly be executed. But she does not actually have a core flame. So most of these people, they had some degree of their abilities prior to getting the core flame, and afterwards it sort of amplifies it or grants new ones. But Mighty, for example, he was immortal before he got his core flame. He was immortal practically as a baby. Does the golden blood come from the heritage of priest families or royal bloodlines? Anaxagoras, I myself show no such connection. Kephali the creator, what criteria did they use to create the golden blood, to shape the Chrysosaurs? Yet Castris, the servant of death from Idonia, her lineage is neither Titan priest nor demigod, but she has walked the earth for at least a millennium with the power to grant death to humans. Where did this power come from? Interesting that it's in air quotes. Another text speaks of the dragon legends of Styxia. The alchemical extraction of soul ripped from dragon corpses is intriguing. Yeah, in Genshin we make delusions out of them. Dragons appear to be Titan's creations. Perhaps there's a way to reverse the process, using alchemy to refuse human souls with Titan creations, increasing the purity and divinity of gold blood towards the absolute. This theory must be tested, experiments to be arranged. Okay. So, reverse the process using alchemy to refuse human souls with Titan creations, increasing purity. So, in other words, if we do the process enough, we can increase the gold blood concentration enough that at what point is there no difference between an actual natural-born Titan and someone who increased their concentration of gold blood so much that they're equivalent to that of a Titan and have equivalent powers.
What's going on? Anaxa is conducting research on our friends in Alchema and... me?
This journal contains several intriguing points.
Creation of Titans.
From the Abyss of Fate to Castrum Krumnos, I've seen many a Titan creation during my time in Amphorius. Life forms created by Circes can also be found in the Grove. But fusing them with human souls through alchemical means? I can't even begin to imagine.
I mean, isn't that kind of what the Flame Chase journey is already? The Chrysos heirs.
Anaxa seems to hold special interest in the divinity coursing through the Chrysos heirs' veins, and has even conducted a thorough investigation into the heroes' backgrounds.
It wouldn't have been so strange if he had focused only on Cassie, given her own curiosity about her origins. Plus, considering that the new Sporists have crafted omnipotent medicines capable of curing diseases, it also makes sense that he would conduct research on immortal Chrysos heirs. But now, it seems Anaxa's objective was never to create medicine, but to identify the origin of the golden blood and figure out its inner workings.
About Anaxa's research.
Through alchemy, Anaxa aims to refine the golden blood in the Chrysos heirs to a degree of purity equal to divinity. This must be what he means by close to true purity. But treating both Titan creations and the human body as materials to be used in alchemy experiments? That's rather extreme.
Danny, look at this. I have a bad feeling about this.
Heasley Written Journal number 2. These documents appear incomplete. Judging from what's left behind, the important alchemical formulae have been taken away, only the author's reasoning remains. The previous approach has flaws. Fusing human souls with Titan creations does not purify golden blood. Even pure Titan creations are contaminants to the Chrysos heirs' gold blood. Okay, so... with the Titan creations, that's just regular humans that he potentially fused with the Titan creation. I was gonna say, how do you get a hand on the Chrysos heirs? Even the pure Titan creations are contaminants to the Chrysos heirs' golden blood. So even ours is higher than if we were to take a Titan creation and fuse it with a human. Soul fusions between humans and creations merely repairs impurities of the soul or maintains a connection to dying souls. While creation myths tell us that Chrysos heirs and other creations were all made by Titans, their nature differs fundamentally. The Titans' creations are no intermediate product of an alchemical process, and the Chrysos heirs are closer to the Titans than the creations. In other words, I should not have considered Titan creations equal to Chrysos heirs. The hypothesis I should focus on is one pointed towards the Titans themselves. Such rare chances to study Titans demand a meticulous selection of research subjects. Living Titans prove impossible to restrain, and dead Titans offer no insight worth pursuing. But dying Titans, they're the perfect research subjects. So maybe Circes maybe that's why he paired with her. Orynyx was a good potential pair too, because they were about to fade out. Only by understanding the fundamentals of creation can we ensure perfection at the moment of everything's birth. Through my own hands, I will melt a Titan and research true essence of the soul. You know, every time I opened a chest, the only thing he ever said was, melt it all down. Now it all kind of fuses together, doesn't it?
My biggest fear. It's come true. After going through his notes, I think I can piece it all together now. Anaxa was carrying out experiments on soul transmutation.
Do you mean he's trying to reconstruct human souls alchemically?
Yes, this is what he was secretly conducting research on. Something he had to keep hidden from others. Compared to his public speeches, this is the real blasphemy. Oh, I just thought of something.
What's wrong?
Do you remember when the Black Tide was approaching? The Grove had planned to send Cersei's core flame to a safe place. But an accident happened along the way, and Anaxa lost his life in the process?
But Cersei took over his body and resurrected him, which led us to the situation we're in now.
That's right. But what if Professor Anaxa's fusion with the core flame of reason wasn't an accident?
What do you mean?
Put yourself in his shoes. Knowing that the Black Tide was closing in and your time was running out, what would you have done?
I'd put my theories to the test, no matter the cost.
Exactly. When the Black Tide came, the true reason Anaxa headed to the Luminary Throne was to transmute and fuse himself with the Titan's core flame.
Did he succeed?
Well, he ain't dead.
No. Judging from how he reacted after the event, the results came as a surprise. Maybe he failed to consider the possibility that Cersei's would make a similar decision. The manuscripts detailing all the alchemical formulae have been taken away. His research is still ongoing.
Could he have taken them for other purposes?
Like, what? There's only one Titan left in the world now. No. No way.
To conceive an entity of perfection, one must first understand the principles of creation. If Anaxa is in Akama now, then that means he's after Kefali.
Well, it is the creator Titan.
Sir, this sky above us, it's not real, is it?
Yeah, we've had this conversation in Genshin too.
Of course not. This is just an image from a projection device used for educational purposes. A simple trick.
Oh, well, theirs is literally just a skybox. That's different.
The day-night cycle has been lost to this world. So that students like you may still learn about the night sky, astronomers have harnessed the Titan's miraculous power to manipulate the light, projecting the nights of the past here for you. Much like how the sky above the Holy City is also illuminated by Kefali's dawn device.
So, the skies of Akama are fake too.
You mustn't conclude that, Anaxa. You should know that only a child would expose a trick and be proud of it. Often people know more than they let on. They simply choose to feign ignorance because they have no other choice.
Then they're just deluding themselves. People believe in Kefali's tale of Genesis, accepting wholesale whatever the priests preach. But we're different. We've already walked out of the firelit cave of ignorance. We have already realized that we live in a world where Titans make the rules. Even when we look at the sky, we're only seeing what they allow us to see. Rather than gazing at this mockery of a night sky fabricated by them for the rest of my life, why shouldn't I be the one to take control of the projection device instead?
So much time has passed since you sowed the seeds of doubt in my heart, child. Many a night, I find myself penning down all my theories and wild ideas, only to burn them to ashes when I open my eyes in the day.
Why? Because we'll face death by burning if word gets out?
As a sage of the Venerationists, my soul has already become inextricably linked to the great tree. Every word I say and every move I make is certain to influence every leaf, every branch, even the tree itself. But above all else, my days are numbered. Instinctively, I have my doubts about the golden blood and the human soul, yet I have no means of verifying them. The golden blood in my veins is woefully thin, and I am loath to waste what little time I have left obsessing over a hypothesis that cannot even be proven in the first place.
But I can, sir. I can do it for us. The time is right. Give me all that I need, and I shall accomplish this grand feat on your behalf.
You're right. I shall do just that. In the next meeting of the sages, I will spare no efforts fighting for the rights you deserve. Go. Establish your own school of thought. Find out what we are. Become the one who conquers the ultimate truths of the world.
Child of humanity. You didn't go to such lengths for an audience with Kefali. Just ask him a few questions, did you?
So, you figured it out. If I were as foolish as a Dromus, perhaps I'd throw myself down and prostrate before their greatness, begging for the gods' prophetic wisdom. Well, sorry to disappoint, but I'm no Dromus. Alas, I am a human, standing tall on 2 feet, possessing both intellect and pride.
Before such power, does it make any difference whether you're a human or a Dromus?
I'm sure you're familiar with the story of the Styxians. When the raging waves threatened to swallow them, they didn't just give up and become sitting ducks. No. They constructed a dam that kept the roaring tide at bay, chaining down the mad Fagusa. They call me a blasphemer, Circes. But that doesn't mean I deny the existence of gods. It's just, as I see it, Titans are simply a force that mankind has yet to find a way to tame.
Oh? If power that rivals the Titans is what you crave, why not conform to the prophecy and brave the trial?
Why stop at harnessing the power of the Titans when I can do so much more? The source of life is what I wish to grasp, to understand what makes up the soul, and to learn what we really are.
Yeah, because undergoing the rite would actually probably just chain them to what the Titans want, too.
Thanks to you, I've had the chance to personally verify, in more ways than one, that the soul indeed ceases to exist in death. But where there is death, there is life. And where there is an end, there must also be a beginning. How then is a soul born? That was the only unknown variable left in my calculations.
And by the sound of it, you have already formed a conjecture.
No. I have already drawn a conclusion. In my journey unto death just now, I finally saw the answer with my own eyes.
Professor Anaxa, I'm here. Her life hangs by a thread. I must ask you to refrain from taking any unnecessary steps.
Of course. I'll bring this to a conclusive end, and give you the answer you so desire. However, in accordance with the principle of equivalent exchange, I must also demand from you what I need.
As you wish.
Don't you care to know what the price might be?
It's a matter of uncovering the truth about the Death Titan and her survival. This may be the only time I can ever save someone's life. There is no need for me to think twice.
I see. In that case, let the show begin.
Indulge me. Am I correct to say that you intend to prove Thanatos' whereabouts and prove the nature of our existence now?
Before I begin, I must confess I had been stuck in a cognitive trap all this time. As unrelated as these two propositions may seem at first glance, they are in fact logical equivalents. They are merely two different ways of telling us about what the soul is at its core. The reason I say this is, as I've mentioned earlier, the answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Professor, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now, but that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes. That's not all. Remember how I said you were a part of that conversation too, Circes?
And I've told you that I have no recollection of such an event. That was likely just an illusion conjured up by the mind of a dying man.
Of course you wouldn't remember. Because that wasn't you. That was Calypso, one of the 7 sages of the Grove.
Calypso?
Huh? Oh, that's the name I made up on a whim when speaking to this girl. How do you know of it? And surely you jest. Don't you think I, of all people, would know if that were the name of one of the 7 sages under the shade of my tree? Don't you claim to know the Grove's past like the back of your hand?
It seems you've lost even the memories seared into your soul. Use your head, Circes. Since all of this took place in the realm of the dead, it stands to reason their likenesses are of souls from the past. The living cannot step foot into that world, so who could they be? Think about Calypso. Why does she share your likeness, yet you have no idea who she is? The answer is evident, is it not? Those fallen heroes are the mortal incarnations of the Titans before their ascensions to godhood. The gods aren't master creators born out of thin air. And they are no different from humans, because they all evolved from one.
So, Flame Chase Journey is to turn us not into just demigods, but eventually, potentially full gods, and it completes a cycle.
Does this answer disappoint you?
Yes, because you've answered nothing. If I truly was once human, as you claim, then where do the children of humanity come from?
Even on the off chance that you speak the truth, this brings us no closer to grasping Thanatos' whereabouts. How are we to find them?
I knew you would say that. But it matters not. I know what I'm doing. Actually, why don't we have this supreme being standing before us tell us everything?
You can revive a Titan?
Humans cannot return from the dead. Neither can gods. But all we need to do is look at this from a different perspective, and the problem will resolve itself. The solution is simple. Just like what you did to me.
Partial fusion to someone else?
If I'm reborn as Kefali, I can rebuild the world and all within it as they once did. Simple is it not?
In the meantime, because that wasn't a whole lot to take in or something.
News from Hyacinth and Danhung. Anaxa might be trying to do something with Kefali's divine body.
Kefali? But what could Anaxa want? Is the Council of Elders going to sit around and let such a sacrilegious act unfold?
That is not possible. He is indeed the great performer, capable of fooling anyone and everyone with his tricks.
I'm sorry.
No need for guilt, for this is good news to us. The Council of Elders has found themselves a traitorous ally. Anaxa's ambitious desires will be something we can exploit. What we should be doing now is to keep our eyes peeled for whichever trickery Kindness is up to, and react accordingly to thwart her plans. Being Akima's political center, the Demigod Council holds just as much significance as the Vortex of Genesis. Someday, after my duty is over, this site will take the place of the battlefield where you hunt gods. Become the next challenge you are to overcome. Till then, it's best to get used to this place as soon as possible.
We'll be waiting for you. Good news. Come find us anytime if you need anything.
Preposterous! The Christos heirs only have their standing because of the Council of Elders. How dare they trample over it?
People are starting to have doubts about this.
These people are shooting daggers with their eyes.
It's been a while.
Hello, Oleg. I'm Amphorius, but we've never met.
What is that supposed to mean? Is this really the sort of person that the young lord praised as a ferocious warrior?
You'll get used to it.
It has indeed been some time, Lord Krateros. What brings you here in such haste?
Shh, keep it down. Be more vigilant. See those duplicitous dogs over there? They do the dirty work for Kindness. I've already ordered my people to hold them back, but we should still lay low. Unless you're itching for a bloody fight to get a workout in.
My bad. So, did something happen?
Did you hear thunderclaps last night?
Be hard not to notice thunderclaps in broad daylight. I'm a heavy sleeper. Hooray, it's Acheron. She's coming to save us. Hard to notice thunderclaps in broad daylight.
Thunderclaps are beacon signals of strife. They are a message from the young lord. He threw a spear bearing several words at Akama.
Watch out. The Flame Reaver is back.
Yeah, because his thing is in the mobile fortress. He's fighting off the Black Tide. So he is actually journeying around.
I guessed as much. We didn't actually kill them back at the Kremnos Arena.
I figured this is something you would want to know. We Kremnoans never back down from a fight. So if you plan to take that thing down in a battle, reach out to me anytime.
You have my gratitude. I will let Aglaya know about this right away.
Remind her to be on her toes while you're at it. That vicious Kindness has been unusually active lately. Those lackeys she keeps undercover have been going in and out of the city a lot more frequently these days. Some even seem to be getting Kremnoans to defect to the Council.
Speaking of loud noises.
That's her.
Looks like you can see it for yourself.
We should get back. Thank you for the intel, Lord Krateros.
Now we know how miHoYo keeps in contact with us. Thunder Spear. It delivers a message like Zeus. Anyway, back to Trailblazer's point of view. Debate course without spears. So this one's supposed to be shorter, so I might just include it with. Of course, I must search around for little friends. we already interacted with this, but Assembly for Mortal Debates, the theater under the God's Watch. It's a bit more full now. Here, that the center of beings we declare to listen, speak, and deliberate. Here, feel, think. Reason out rules, establish laws, and pronounce death. Oh gods, does this amuse you? Yeah, we did see that one. But we might get to just...
carefully into Lantern above, as the Theoros I have observed.
Get to see one in real time.
Virtuous citizens of Akama, fine Vides, Elysiae, and the Outlander are heading toward us.
Are we not allowed to participate?
Aglaya, what happened here?
I know about the poisonous fangs of that king snake through the golden threads. In the past, I would be confident about keeping her in check, but I admit I am now unable to do so.
What do you mean?
It is no longer about eloquence or arguments. I have been a demigod for far too long that I hardly have any humanity left. Before I realized it, I have become no different from these hypocrites, no longer capable of relating to the people. This has come a lot sooner than I expected. But perhaps it is time. I need you to step up, Finan, in order for me to retreat behind the scenes.
Yeah, since she communicates through the threads, she can probably already sense that people's growing discontent towards the Chrysos heirs and herself before the debate even begins.
Yes, this is my duty, but...
It is far easier for the Council of Elders to fool many than just fool one person. Their so-called more support is no more than a ruse to distribute power using words instead of lances. There is no glory in winning this debate, but that makes having respect for humans so much more priceless. Finan, you are a Chrysos heir without flaw, capable of relating deeply with humans.
I appreciate what you've taught me, Aglaya. I hope we'll live up to your expectations and win this debate.
Oh, you've done well, Lord Calictus. Let me take over and personally close this debate for today. Dearest counselors, let it be known that I sorely miss the blissful times portrayed in lyrical poems. Back then, Amphorius was home to nearly 1,000 cities, each with their own local faith, while gods walked the earth and shared close bonds with humans. Yet, in the present, people from all over are forced to leave their homeland to seek refuge in the holy city, where they hope to rest under Kethali's protection. All of us have long been in the same boat, with no way out of this plight. We didn't have a choice in the past, but now the Council of Elders brings to the table a new possibility. All I have left is one question for you. Would you rather strive toward the unheard of Era Nova, or return to the prosperous Era Chrysia of our past? Make your choice.
So just a refresher, the Era Chrysia is before the Black Tide descended.
Now, which of the two would lead mortals to an ideal future?
No hesitation, I stand by Era Nova. It's possible to bring Era Chrysia back. If it is possible to bring Era Chrysia back. You know what? I don't actually know, because again, I don't know if their way they plan on doing it. I know they want to end the Chrysos Flame Chase journey, but aside from that, like, do we have a backup plan? But also at the same time, even the gods are telling us that this entire thing is sus, and I don't trust it.
But how are we supposed to send Amphorius? back to Erechrysia.
We all know that Erechrysia is a thing of the past, Lady Kindness. Please, enlighten me. How does the Council of Elders plan to turn back time?
Let the 3 Titans of Calamity be born, and Erechrysia is nevermore. But bring demise to those Titans, and Erechrysia will descend upon us again.
Yeah, it's worth noting that all the Titans were not born at the same time.
Know that the Council of Elders is never one to make empty promises. Look at who we have on our side.
Yeah, the Titans of Destruction, the 3 Titans of Destruction, were born last. So, and it wasn't until they were born that the Black Tide came into being. So that is part of the reason for their debate as well, is that if we only had, instead of the 12, we had the 9 that we were prosperous under, and we maybe destroyed the other 3, then we could have an era of more prosperity. That's their argument.
Anaxagoras, one of the Grove's 7 sages, and Castorus, Idonia's goddess of death. With the help of these 2 heroes, I can promise all of you that Erechrysia will exist once more.
Aren't they Chrysos heirs? They're supporting the Council of Elders instead?
It's clear from the start that these heroes do not get along well in their group. All the more proof that Aglaya isn't fit to speak on behalf of every Chrysos heir. I am in favor of Erechrysia.
Erechrysia! Erechrysia!
Castorus, I know you must have your reasons.
Why are you standing over there?
You finally arrived, Anaxa. So have you, Cass.
I mean, you feel betrayed, but I might be standing over there too, so you know what? Because none of you refused to elaborate. You've kept so many secrets, and now it's also biting you in the ass from your own people.
Don't worry, Aglaya. Well, I know that you have many queries. Could you continue to converse like how the citizens normally do? Tell me, dear citizens, if we successfully retrieve and return Thanatos' core flame without anyone passing the Death Titan's trial, what would happen next?
The answer is simple. We will have a chance to rid the world of death and bring Amphorius back to an era when all beings live forever. We'll usher in a new future that will be entirely different from the flame chase journey.
And then you just wind up in Yausha's territory because, again, the biggest issue of the Black Tide isn't just that it brings death, it brings insanity and madness and corruption. So, very similar to the people on Lafu, your body and your mind is going to corrupt into something unrecognizable from your current self. You may be freed from the grasp of death in that humanity may itself become immortal, but you won't be humanity any longer. So that is something to take into account.
He's one of the 7 sages. That's impossible.
Members of the Council of Elders are discussing fervently.
Your proposal is much too idealistic. As long as the Black Tide still exists, how can we go back to the old days?
Remember what I previously said? Kefali's core flame is guarded by the secret power of the Council of Elders. Plus, Pagusa's water curtain will be able to block out any external perceptions. Tell me, dear citizens.
Then we can never leave, though.
Have any of you ever seen even a glimpse of the threat that this person is talking about anywhere within the walls of this majestic holy city?
Let's see, but the place will become the Flame Reaver's target sooner or later. It will. Isn't this just survivorship bias? It is both true, but also even if we stay under the protection of the curtain, one, that means we have to maintain it forever, and if it ever lapses, we're screwed. But also two, that means we lose the vast majority of the world. It may as well not exist.
Oh. Could it be that you heard that from the Flame Reaver themselves? Citizens, let's loudly sing the blessed hymn. Oh, beautiful old world, where are you now? Oh, legendary Erechrysia, return to the mortal realm.
After the destruction of the 3 Titans of Calamity, the Flame Chase journey will have to end.
Well, if we don't have the core flames to fuse with, I guess we can't succeed on the journey, can we?
This is bad. The masses are now totally riled up.
Anaxa, pray tell. Everything that you've mentioned hinges on the premise that we can find Thanatos' existence, right?
Thank you, Lady Aglaya, for still caring about this city. However, dear citizens, we are truly fortunate and blessed. For Castorus, Idonia's goddess of death, will surely find Thanatos under my guidance.
What? With that, I solemnly promise that the core flame Lady Castorus brings back will be personally managed by the Council of Elders. Thereafter, if we are able to garner the support of all of you at the Citizens' Assembly, we shall spare no effort in ensuring that the Erechrysia will return to our world once again.
With the balance shattered, the result is clear. Buy carefully into Lenten above, as the Theoros I have observed. Akama has chosen her destiny. The issue up for discussion at this Citizens' Assembly shall be modified to the suspension of the Flame Chase journey. This resolution shall be put up on the Wall of Heroes, such that all citizens are aware of the city's way forward.
Aglaya, dear Aglaya, what has caused your heart to soften? You also don't seem to be as quick-witted as before.
Because you have to remember too, from the citizens' perspective, the Flame Chase journey is going to cause them to destroy, basically kill every god and take on their powers, but that also means destroying Kefali, the only thing that's keeping them protected. So it's a gamble for them too, probably a super duper scary one, because just because we get their powers doesn't always necessarily mean we fully take their place. So without the Flame Chase journey is basically guaranteeing that you have to just have faith that things go right, because we won't have Kefali's protection after that. The world will be plunged into eternal night, and what happens if the dark tide doesn't go away? So yeah, they're looking at it from an angle of, yeah, we're gonna be boxed in and nothing can save us, but at the same time, it at least has hope, whereas the other one, you have blind faith that you have to rely on, and no scientific method that it'll work.
Wag your tongue as much as you like. Since the Flame Chase journey has been preordained by the prophecy, our failure has never been on the cards.
I just found one of the butterflies I need. It was on the pig that was flying by. It was on its nose.
Well then, I guess we'll find out if that's true at the Citizens' Assembly.
Magus announces the conclusion of the debate and the attendees part ways.
Castorus? What is going on?
Yeah, 1 second. Where'd it go? Piggy? Where have you gone, Piggy? It flew by Aglaya's head. I swear I saw it. There it is! Come back here! There it goes! When you're mid-important discussion, but you see the shiny object you need. It should come back around.
Charge! Break through the mist! How rude! You disregard the Knight's Code of Conduct, attacking without formally issuing a duel and ambushing my beloved steed? However, I forgive you.
Because it will respawn?
Because it will respawn soon enough!
Anyway. Sorry about the detour. I was, instantly distracted. Okay, can I talk to you? No, I can't.
Well, it seems that when I sent you to look for Anaxa, I unintentionally facilitated your partnership with him instead.
My apologies, everyone. I know that you have many questions to ask me. I will answer them to the best of my knowledge.
In that case, please tell us as much as you can.
What happened when you went to look for Anaxa?
In actuality, he showed me a past that was both long and heavy.
The reason I say this is as I've mentioned earlier. The answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Professor, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now, but that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes.
Have you heard of this tale before? A tale about the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown. It was a seaside town which enjoyed the ocean breeze and glorious, peaceful times, thanks to the wisdom of its ruling queen. Until one day, an evil dragon descended upon the town. Its wings were large enough to blot out the sun, while its claws were sharp enough to rip the waves apart. It barged into the tall tower and devoured the queen's beloved daughter. It even settled itself in her bedroom, like a tyrant king. The queen assembled 300 warriors who managed to subdue the evil dragon by chaining it up. However, when the queen slit open the dragon's belly, she realized that the princess had long since been digested, and all that was left of her was a pile of bones. Devastated, the queen wept for several days. It was then that a devious, smooth-talking scholar arrived at the palace and suggested that the princess could be revived through the use of dragon bone and dragon blood. That liar called this process the secret art of alchemy. The princess was reborn! The queen was overjoyed, blissfully unaware that the evil dragon's soul still lurked within the princess's body. As revenge, the evil dragon swallowed the poor queen, the glib liar, the courageous warriors, and all of the town's innocent civilians in a single gulp. Worse still, the souls of the deceased were refused entry to the Netherrealm because they were filled with regret. Forced to roam the mortal realm, these resentful souls ultimately converged into a river of souls that would not retreat for a long time. The terrifying death had consumed all. Thereafter, our hometown fell into ruin as well. Until...
Until?
Actually, I don't know what happened next either.
Oh, my... It seems that you still like to whet people's appetites even after all this time, Pelixia. So, according to your story, this is how I used to look? It's practically a mirror image. And yet, what exactly is this?
A miracle that I created with alchemy. As for what it is and how I was able to accomplish it, I'll keep the answers to myself for now.
Plot MacGuffin.
Oh, my goodness. Is this cliffhanger really necessary?
Quiet, Titan. Continue to enjoy this splendid play, and the truth will naturally reveal itself.
Dragon, huh? I've heard this legend before.
In that case, what do you think of it?
I think that this so-called alchemy was a tenuous analogy added to the story by future generations. After all, you've never heard of a tradition of alchemy in your hometown before, have you?
Indeed. Before I left home to pursue my education, I never even knew that anybody was looking into this area of study.
Therefore, we can just treat this tale as a fable told to young children.
Yeah, her eye is very interesting. It kind of looks like the dragon claw itself.
A fable, you say?
Outfits similar to
If
Castrus's.
so, what moral is it trying to impart to the kids?
I guess it might be the concept of equivalent exchange?
Oh? I thought the moral might be closer to something like honor the dead. What? At a loss for words?
No, I merely realized that we're both thinking of the same principle. If life is priceless, then there is hardly anything else in this world that is of equal weight to it, right?
Indeed. As expected of the wisest scholar in the land.
You flatter me. Why don't I ask you a question as well, as a form of equivalent exchange?
Of course. What is your question?
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
What? What kind of strange question is this? I got it. You're just trying to get me to tell you whether I like anyone, right?
Seems a little like you're dodging the question.
Let's just leave it at that. That was rude of me.
Yes, I would.
Oh?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I'm certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. After all, you, me, and the rest will all have to face that fateful moment eventually.
My time is finally here. However, perhaps because of my firm belief in the immeasurable value of life, I am unable to complete the trial.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. It is a pity that fate is such a cruel mistress.
Is there no other way of interpreting those words?
I'm afraid that the meaning is clear. Between my sister and me, one must pay the price. Our trial can only be completed when the one chosen sacrifices her life. I'm afraid that the prophecy might even have selected a pair of twins for this exact purpose.
Fortune makes fools of us all.
And they have everything but the one.
My sister is prepared to sacrifice herself. And yet, I can't do the same. How absurd. My time is almost up, but I'm still afraid to welcome death. What should we do? If I'm ultimately not able to make up my mind...
Since Chaos is willing to guide all of us and leave this trial to the end, there is still plenty of time for you to ponder.
That's right. Don't allow the fog of an uncertain future to cloud your mind.
Trial, prophecy, the topics that they're discussing seem familiar. But these three people must not have left their names in the epics. Otherwise, I would have some recollection of this.
Amphorius's history before the Titans were born was complete chaos. Is that not strange by itself? I have long held three hypotheses about this. However, let's continue watching for now.
Calypso, Polixia, and this warrior. I seem to have met him somewhere before.
Honey, that's Nikador.
Regarding this matter, Nias, are you confident that you'll complete your trial?
Of course. Though, I am worried about what will happen once I've emerged victorious.
I guess his ended up getting shattered and he went insane.
Made up your mind.
Yes, this is the safest course of action.
Completely separating courage, honor, tenacity, sacrifice, and reason. You really know how to make things difficult.
Please, young lady, witness my fall and demise. Lady Calypso, you shall host the soul-rending ceremony.
I do not understand. Why would you dare to sacrifice yourself for a future that you won't get to witness?
Because this is our destiny. The power that resides within me is so intense that I will one day be engulfed by it. Furthermore, a valorous death before glorious return has always been the path I chose to walk.
A journey I began long ago. If your sister or Kaos were in my position, I believe they would make the same choice as well.
I'm not that brave. I don't know how I'm supposed to face such a serious affair.
Despite being Death's chosen one, it seems you still don't know how to face it. Let's chat, young lady. Perhaps I shouldn't end my journey so hastily. Since there's still time, I'm not worried about letting fate wait a little longer.
Of course. This warrior is Lord Anias. As the embodiment of Nikador's divinity, he entrusted his life to us and allowed humankind to end his madness. That means that what I'm currently seeing before my eyes is, in fact,
him pre-madness.
Looks like one hypothesis of mine has already been proven true. These heroes are the true forms of the Titans, before they attain their divinity. If so, the chosen one of death that he speaks of is actually...
Polixia? Is the previous form of Thanatos? But her appearance...
If this is true, as long as we can find out where she went, we'll naturally be able to figure out the location of the Death Titan.
But before that, we first need to witness what ultimately happened to Lord Anias.
POV switch to Casterus. Story characters can be added to team. Might as well. Don't know if I'll actually get to play with her, but your scythe is welcome on the team. Investigate.
Lord Anias' honor is sealed here.
Incredible. The honor in this child's soul is so light.
Yeah, it's being sealed in these. That's what we initially destroyed. Oops.
I believe that his tenacity is sealed within this statue.
Before we fought Nikador, we also released it from the stone statue.
I keep doing that, sorry.
Nikador's courage is a testament that they have never once retreated from a battle.
I've heard that these words are still engraved in Castrum Kremnos even today. It didn't occur to me that they were actually part of an alchemical formula.
Yeah, so even this was part of alchemy.
Sealed within this statue is undoubtedly his sacrifice.
They use their own body as our city walls, keeping out and protecting us from the pervasive spread of madness. They are acutely aware that if the end times were to arrive, there would be nothing left in this world to conquer.
Worth noting too that during Mighty and Phaenon's conversation before Mighty left to return to Castrum Kremnos, he did jokingly say that, oh, we should maybe rename your Titan powers, and one of them was the preservation, which I didn't initially catch, but I caught later, and it's like, wait a dang minute.
Honor, courage, tenacity, sacrifice.
And finally, the only thing that remains is reason.
Cheer up, young lady. There is no need to shed tears over a glorious death.
farewells in this world are sorrowful, Lord Nias.
No, young lady. As a warrior, I have witnessed too many bitter deaths. But now, all I feel is peace. I did not know until this moment that mortals could live their lives in such a way.
Although only a sliver of your soul remains, you remain so optimistic. Or maybe the truth is that you aren't able to feel sorrow anymore.
To be honest, I don't know either. But I am certain of one thing. This is not an acceptance of death nor apathy toward it. It's not even a feeling of despair. I am just enjoying what remains of my life to the fullest.
Enjoying?
Indeed. Along this journey that we've taken together, not only have I changed the world, I myself have also changed in the process. And now I have reached the journey's end. When I look back and see the grand epic that I've personally written, how could I not revel in that fact?
But when you depart the mortal realm, won't all of your accomplishments be reduced to nothing? Separation and death are two sides of the same coin. Reconciling this doesn't come easily for a mortal.
Finally, let me recount to you a story of mine, young lady. The first time I returned from the battlefield, I felt extremely hollow. The calamity had devoured everybody on the battlefield but me. When I returned to the city alone, the citizens held a banquet for me that was far from pleasant. I felt as though I was still on the battlefield, and the person who had returned was nothing but an empty shell.
I wonder too if he has Maide's immortality. Also, her face in this particular instance is different, Polonia. She doesn't have the dragon claw.
It was late into the night by the time the banquet ended. My head still reeling, I returned alone to the barracks. On the way back, I encountered someone. It was a crazed scholar looking at the night sky and muttering to himself by the side of the road. Although I tripped over him and fell, I wasn't angry in the slightest. And maybe because I saw myself in him, I inexplicably asked him a question. Do you think that it'd be better if we just died on the roadside like a couple of stray dogs? To my surprise, he shrugged his shoulders and sighed.
How does someone who is currently experiencing death, dying and living, afford the same amount of bliss? Now please go away and don't block my starlight.
Curious if he was chronically ill or something, because death is just the final part of the process. Dying, such as when you have like a severe chronic illness or something along those lines, is its own. Like, you know the inevitable's coming, but it's a process that's hard to describe.
Are you trying to say that there is no difference between living and dying? For they are both journeys that lead toward death?
Even dying, you're still alive, even if your mindset tends to change.
That's exactly what life is.
Plus, you're technically all
Death
dying.
Is but a scale to measure how valuable the journey was. Journeys and epics are only glorious and magnificent because all things eventually fade to dust. Therefore, young lady, don't detest your fate. Instead, willingly and respectfully embrace it.
The embodiment of strife telling me about the majesty of the world?
Indeed. I believe that when the fated moment eventually arrives, you will be able to understand my words. It is time for me to knock on death's door. I will set up a long table at the end of the road and humbly await your arrival. When that moment finally comes, let us drink and be merry then.
It sounds a thing she never arrived, though.
I knew this day would eventually come.
Are the both of you ready?
Mm-hmm. Polixia. I'm here.
Or maybe she did go through with it, but maybe something went wrong.
What? This...
This is quite interesting indeed.
Is this... Polixia's sister? Is it... me? Now, it's time for us to fulfill our promises. Are you afraid? What are you afraid of?
That I won't be able to do it.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. As foretold in the prophecy, and according to our vows, once it all ends, we must face our fated moment head-on.
Even if it was prophesized, do we have no say in the matter? It's so unfair. Why are we the only ones who are forced into mutual destruction? Let me do it, sister. Let me be death's sacrifice. I was never long for this world anyway. But you're different. I was the one who wasted your life after all.
You're wrong, Polixia. I don't think that my life was wasted. Just the opposite. When I finally arrived at this destination and looked back at the journey I took, I discovered that flowers had long since bloomed along the path I walked. It was you who sowed the seeds for this sea of flowers, one that is more beautiful than the promised land at the end of the world. Besides, I have lived a fulfilling life. Even though I was fated for sacrifice, none of the things that I've experienced will dissipate. Instead, they'll forever live on as memories inside your head. Will they not?
How could my memories of you ever compare to the actual you?
Well then, tell me. What exactly are we?
What is the purpose of the journey?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But regardless regardless of what the answer is, regardless of how we're shaped by others, or even by this world. Ever since we were born, the fact that we existed was predestined, and nothing could erase it. This is why I will always, always be by your side.
I don't know, if I was in her shoes, I'd probably say screw death too. I mean, so many times too, it's like, oh, well, you can only appreciate all that you have in life because it ends. That's not a notion that I personally agree with.
We're twins, after all. All right, my dear Polixia. It's time to extract my heart and light the flame of death. After that, use it to plant the first bud in the prophesied new world.
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
Loophole in the prophecy, huh?
It is inevitable. In the days to come, I am certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. Even now, my answer remains the same. This is why, sister, I promise you, in the prophesied new world, I shall plant the first bud on your behalf. Go now. Return to the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown. I shall open wide the entrance to the nether realm and grant you a second life. The living beings on this earth shall respond to my call and lead you to the sacred daylight. Remember, do not look back on the land of the dead, and do not stop moving. In the new world promised by the prophecy, march toward your new life. As for the price of our equivalent exchange, let me be the one to pay it.
An actual full life, more than likely.
We've come to the end. Unfortunately, I am not compatible with the Supreme Being, so I was unable to completely fuse their soul into my own body. However, being able to glean all this from them is exciting enough. I'm certain of this now. Before the Titans that we are well acquainted with were born, a group of heroes roamed the land. These heroes followed a prophecy and took possession of divine authorities one by one, until they eventually became the pantheon of the new world. Just like the flame chase journey of today, Amphorius's history is cyclical in nature.
What a startling revelation. This means that the demigods, who bear the core flames, will also become the new Titans at the world's end, thereby shaping a new world?
I believe that this is the truth behind the Era Nova, as mentioned in the prophecy.
This is utterly unbelievable. Besides, those twins in the past, even if they really are Thanatos, Their whereabouts are still unknown, even today.
Are their whereabouts truly unknown? Didn't Polixia mention that seaside town? The birthplace of alchemy and the tale of the dragon. In our world, there exists a city which perfectly matches that description. Styxia.
But the people there worship Fagusa and bear no relation to Thanatos. I have also never been to that place, as in the time of Idonia, it had long turned into underwater ruins.
Take this.
This is...
the new Sporist masterpiece, the Philosopher's Stone. It was made by transmuting all of the sage's wisdom into a single entity, with their flesh and blood as its foundation.
Okay, 1, you're gonna hand over something as powerful as a Philosopher's Stone. Number 2, that's a little bit ominous on how you're telling it it's made there in Hexagoras. But yeah, it turns out, even if it is, you know, a rebirth of the world, it's still the destruction that comes first, which, I mean, I still don't really see myself getting behind it.
Remember?
Still a death cult.
I've mentioned before that the art of alchemy is all about conversion, tempering, and ascension. This process also applies to the pursuit of truth. Regardless of how unbelievable this sounds, the truths of the world have been refined from the impurities. Think about the story of the dragon. This stone will lead you to your real hometown, allowing you to reform the door to the Netherrealm and discover Thanatos' fate.
You still look as confident in your victory as ever. But what if your conjecture is wrong?
Simple. I shall merely admit to the entire world that my experiment was a failure. However, my line of thinking will not fail because I have already planted the seeds of doubt into the hearts of the masses. Actions speak louder than words, Castorus. With the assembly about to begin, don't forget the promise you've made.
I've already searched for so long. I'm willing to try one more time. While we converse, her life is also slowly slipping away. But before I leave, I have another question. What exactly did we witness just now?
That was the world imprinted in Kefali's soul. If we are to prove its existence, you must take the final step. Go. Do not disappoint me.
Yeah, too, when he said it was the world, it actually subtitled it as memory.
I understand.
Hey, child of humanity.
Don't get antsy. I still remember the question you posed to me. As a scholar, I do not wish to offer up ambiguous conclusions. Let's discuss this topic again when she manages to find the evidence.
I merely wanted to ask, was that stone transmuted from your heart? If so, rebirth is no longer an option for you.
Why not? When I was a child, I lost someone dear to me. When I was a teenager, I lost my faith. A while back, although you saved my life, I also lost my soul in the process.
Yeah, apparently that thing on his chest isn't just for show. It's his own heart being ripped out.
Now I'm merely forsaking my body. What's the big deal?
Why are you always finding ways to die? Isn't it good to be alive?
This is but a necessary sacrifice on my path to transform into the purest of them all.
Can someone who's dead even claim to be the purest of them all? Furthermore, If your hypothesis is proven correct, does it not just confirm that the myths are true, and thereby invalidate all your theories?
No, it's just the opposite. If my hypothesis is correct, it means that I can actually ascend to godhood and reshape this absurd world that you all have created.
Currently, back to the Trailblazers' point of view.
A lot to take in at once.
It sure is.
Lady Aglaya, please, let me explain.
Go on.
You know that the core flame of death has always been the greatest unknown regarding the Era Nova, which is why both you and Kindness desire to gain the power to control that core flame in the approaching Citizens' Assembly. Professor Anaxa has come to a consensus with Kindness. They want to suspend the trial once Thanatos' core flame is reclaimed, hoping thus to eradicate death from this world. If they're successful, then the flame chase journey will cease, and Akama can enjoy everlasting peace. But I know this runs counter to your wishes. So long as we do not usher in Era Nova, the Black Tide will never be eradicated. Even with Lord Mighty on the front line, and the Black Tide not posing an immediate risk, the danger nevertheless remains. Honestly, it's difficult for me to assess the pros and cons in this decision. But someone must bring the core flame before we can begin negotiations over it. The Titan could be very near. I cannot let this chance slip by. Besides, someone has to make this trip to bring back Mrs. Soul.
Well said. You already had every reason to seek an audience with Thanatos. It's that great performer who has weaponized your wishes and placed us in this difficult situation. A world without death. Do you desire that too?
Perhaps.
If fate dictates that my path must oppose yours, I will do all I can to resist it and protect what I aspire to achieve. Lord Mighty showed me that without taking the first step, all talk of what follows is moot.
It also is worth noting, though, too, that if Castris is required to obtain death, we might lose Castris or her sister. Castris, you've changed, unsure of what to say, but offers a smile. Have mercy, Aglaya. Stay your threads.
I have always hoped to hear you speak your mind, Cass. And I am glad to have heard your true thoughts. Styxia. I visited that place in the past. Though it is now an island surrounded by the river of Souls Torrents, it's not hard to see its former splendor. Go. I will not stand in your way. As for you, you are someone who has cheated death. I believe you have more than enough reason to make the trip with Castris and meet the god of death himself. Castris, I too look forward to your journey. I wonder what kinds of new interpretations your completed story will bring to the Flame Chase journey.
Thank you, Lady Aglaya.
I hate to put a damper on this heartwarming moment, but if Styxia is now an island surrounded by the river of Souls Torrents, then how do we find a way in? Lady Treby is probably...
The answer is quite simple. In the myths, Zagreus once made the domain of the dead their treasure vault. That is to say, they could enter and leave the nether realm as they pleased. And if they could do that, then it follows that the demigod who inherited their divinity must be capable of the same. I'll see you at Memorial Palace at Action Hour tomorrow. Cypher shall be your guide to finding that ancient city.
The tumultuous day finally comes to an end. Everyone disperses, each lost in their own thoughts. This has kind of been a long one. Nameless recollection. The several servant tells of the mystery within the myths, and the scholar seeks to answer a forbidden puzzle. The truth learned during your travels. Head to the book and write it down.
Downhung isn't back yet.
Nice. Apparently not, but I'm not going to do that yet immediately because that was a much longer quest than anticipated, even gluing them together the way that I did. So I'm gonna take a break in between, even though I'm excited for Cypher. So, and the as I've writtens can be rather long as well, so I might save some of these for their own bits. I don't know.
Oh, Brent's Stell's eyelashes are flattering. The look of someone lost in thought.
Sadly no ending again. Oh, maybe I guess I unintentionally did this. Doggone it. Sadly no ending again.
I see, but I actually really enjoy stories like this. Just think about it, those perfect endings we all love. Aren't they always the ones where the story keeps going, where everything's still living and the ending is yet to come?
I disagree. I like tragedies. Okay. So that lets me close it for now. So that's Writing a Story, Flame Chaser's Path, and Euphoria Saga of Heroes. Authors Recompose. Does this offer me anything I eventually need? Lots of jades. All Eidolons acquired. Have I already acquired all those? Yeah, eventually, once I read all of these, it'll get me some more jades, but I just don't have the energy anymore. If it was like a 1-hour journey, I was gonna crack the book open, but then it just kind of kept going. So let's... Sunday. Come on. Nope. Could really use him on the team. Sushang. Even though a lot of them are entirely outdated as characters. Sushang's one of those. Cleave with Heart. Sushang's break effect increases by 40%.
Sooner or later, I'll make my mark in history.
I do like the profile pic though, that's kind of funny. But for now, this is where I'm going to call it. So next time, we'll be heading to What Remains of Styxia and getting to meet Cypher, who I've been looking forward to meeting, who I guess I kind of initially thought Stell was going to get Zagreus's powers with how often they interacted with them, but I guess Cypher is actually going to be Zagreus, so that's what it's pointing to anyway. So I guess we'll take a week and get, but I thought that's initially when I started where it was going to go, but I guess I was wrong. Someone even more chaotic than us. Can't wait. But for now, this is where I'm going to call it. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more Honkai Star Rail, and I hope to see you all in future videos. Bye-bye!